What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Anthony Joshua is scheduled to defend his IBF, WBO, and WBA titles against #1 mandatory IBF contender Kubrat Pulev. The fight is scheduled to take place December 12th. And his biggest cheerleader, Tony Bellew, who crashed and burned when he made his American debut, when he got one hitter quitter and put to sleep without the NyQuil by Adonis Stevenson, is out here making a lot of ridiculous claims and claiming that AJ is far superior, far better, much more technical than Deontay Wilder. He calls Deontay Wilder a one-trick pony. He says that one trick is a hell of a trick, but he struggled and was getting boat race versus a 95-year-old Luis Ortiz, according to Tony Bellew. But I'm here to tell you, AJ fans, that AJ, Anthony Joshua, is Frank Bruno 2.0. When Tyson Fury has been making a lot of comments here recently stating that Deontay Wilder is the second best heavyweight in the division, that he can beat any other heavyweight in the division outside of himself. He basically says that Deontay Wilder lands that right hand on guys like Deontay, guys like Dillian White, whose defense is suspect, and guys like Anthony Joshua, whose defense is suspect, a guy that doesn't move his head, a guy that's robotic, a guy that is chinny. You ask what chinny is? Basically, the guy got a glass jaw. The guy got a chandelier glass jaw. And it's just a matter of time with Deontay Wilder's athleticism and detonating that right hand on those guys. It's just a matter of time those guys will get put to sleep without the NyQuil. But here comes Tony Bellew, Anthony Joshua's biggest cheerleader, Anthony Joshua's jock sniffer, basically saying that Anthony Joshua is far superior, far better, far more technical, and just a much better fighter than Deontay Wilder. Tony Bellew is the same guy that came over here and made his American debut versus Adonis Stevenson. And if you don't remember what happened in that fight, he got put to sleep in that fight, got knocked out. Adonis Stevenson hit him with the one-hitter quitter and knocked this guy out, and then he went back on over there to the UK and won some insignificant fights versus UK domestic level fighters. Now, he did get a couple of wins over David Haye, but let's look at those two fights. The first fight, David Haye was dominating the fight before he got hurt, and at that point then, Tony Bellew took advantage of that injury that he suffered in that fight and went on to defeat David Haye. In the rematch, David Haye was still, to me, not the same fighter that he was in that first fight. He was a guy that basically was a former shell of himself due to the injuries and due to the age factor. And Tony Bellew was able to defeat him in that fight much more dominant than he did in the first fight, as David Haye suffered an injury. But to me, David Haye was worse in that second fight than he was in that first fight. And Tony Bellew had the style to defeat David Haye. Even a prime David Haye, Tony Bellew would have had problems. Some guys have other guys' numbers. Some guys match up better with other guys, even though the other guys have had a better overall career, have had more significant wins, have a better resume. It's just a bad stylistic matchup, and I think that was the case with David Haye versus Tony Bellew. You remember Muhammad Ali had all kind of problems with Ken Norton, but nobody's saying that Ken Norton is a better fighter than Muhammad Ali, or that Ken Norton had a better career than Muhammad Ali, or that Ken Norton has a better resume than Muhammad Ali. It's just that his style created a lot of problems for Muhammad Ali. And that's the same case with Tony Bellew versus David Haye. But this is the same guy that is basically got the two pom-poms in the right hand and the left hand cheerleading for Anthony Joshua. But I'm here to tell you that Anthony Joshua is Frank Bruno 2.0. Look at the two fighters. Frank Bruno got brutally knocked out by Mike Tyson twice. And the second time he got knocked out by Mike Tyson, that wasn't even a prime Mike Tyson. That was a diminished Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson actually knocked him out quicker in the rematch than he did in the first fight when he was closer to his prime. Frank Bruno is another guy that was knocked out and destroyed by Lennox Lewis, who was not at his apex of his career at that time. He was going toward that apex, but he was not in the prime of his career. He wasn't in the dominance of his career when he defended his titles multiple times, when he defeated Evander Holyfield and defeated Mike Tyson and defeated David Tua and defeated Hasim Rahman. That wasn't the same Lennox Lewis that defeated Frank Bruno and dominated him and stopped him. So let's stop with this. Anthony Joshua is a young fighter. He's getting better. He's improving each fight. The guy is close to 30 years old. This is not a 21-year-old prospect straight out of the Olympics. This guy's had a lot of fights. He's fought Klitschko. He's fought Andy Ruiz twice. He's fought who has he fought? He's fought Dillian White. He's fought Joseph Parker. You know what I'm saying? He's fought plenty of top tier fighters. And he is what he is at this point. He's a guy that's very robotic. He's a guy that doesn't move his hands. I give him this. He's got the best, one of the best uppercuts in the sport of boxing. And definitely the best uppercut in the heavyweight division. He's got a decent jab, and he's got a decent right hand. But the guy is very stationary. He doesn't have great footwork. Again, he doesn't have great head movement. And he's chinny. AKA, he's got a chandelier glass jaw. As we've seen a puncher named Andy Ruiz, who's not a devastating puncher, but is a very accurate puncher, a very sharp puncher, probably has the quickest hands in the heavyweight division, was able to drop Anthony Joshua multiple times. What you think gonna happen if he get in there with Deontay Wilder, who hits much more harder, who's much more athletic, who has that jab to blind you and then set the right hand up? I can't wait for AJ to get in the ring with Deontay Wilder if he ever gets the nerve to get in the ring with Anthony Joshua. Everybody want to always talk about the $100 million deal from DAZN. DAZN is damn near bankrupt. DAZN is irrelevant. Eddie Hearn has failed in the United States of America with this DAZN app. Everybody need to wake up and smell the coffee. They're still putting on cards. But look at the cards they're putting on. You know, I'm a boxing hardcore fan, but these cards are not going to draw in the casual boxing fan. Daniel Jacobs versus Gabe Rosado is not going to draw in the casual fans. Okay? Devin Haney, one of the top prospects in boxing, versus broken down and old Yorkis Gamboa, is not going to draw in the casual boxing fan. It's going to draw in me. I'm a hardcore boxing fan, but is it going to draw in the casual boxing fan? Is it going to up the subscriptions for DAZN? And I'm going to tell you right now, hell to the no. It's not going to do that. Okay? So miss me with this Tony Bellew talking about Anthony Joshua is far superior than Deontay Wilder. Based on what? Deontay Wilder lost to the #1 heavyweight in boxing, Tyson Fury. A guy that's 6'9", light on his feet, can box, can move, agile, got head movement, got decent power. And Anthony Joshua lost to the Michelin Man, the Pillsbury Doughboy, a guy that came in out of shape, grossly out of shape. And he lost to him, and I'm talking about the first fight. Everybody want to talk about how he came out of shape in the second fight. He was out of shape in the first fight compared to other fighters. Look at his body. Based on, that's what people do. They lower the bar for certain fighters. Andy Ruiz comes in most of his fights out of shape. But for the first Joshua fight, he didn't come in as bad a shape as he usually does. So he came in not couch potato shape, but he came in I might can go outside and change the oil, and then that's gonna be all I'm gonna do today shape. You know what I'm saying? Not sitting on the couch watching TV all day shape, but maybe I can go outside and get up under the car, change the oil, and put the 6 quarts of oil in there, and that's it for me for the day. I'm tired shape. That's the type of shape he came in in the first fight. In the second fight, he came in couch potato shape. The guy's never been in great shape. So miss me with that. You lost to that guy. The guy's got fast hands, and the guy's just not a disciplined fighter. Hopefully, under the tutelage of Eddie Reynoso and looking at what Canelo has done and working with Canelo and working with his team, hopefully he'll come in this time in boxing shape for once in his life. But miss me with that. AJ lost to that guy. Okay? He beat, when he got his first title, Charles Martin, who won a very interesting matchup to get that title. He basically beat a guy that got hurt in that fight. Not by a punch, but just got hurt. Messed his leg up. Trying to make a boxing move. And he won the title by then. You fought that guy. You hurried up, jumped in the ring and fought that guy and beat that guy. Then you beat Vladimir Klitschko, who's a Hall of Fame fighter, but hadn't fought in 2.5 years. And you was in a war with him. Damn near got knocked out. I don't know why when Vladimir Klitschko dropped AJ, he didn't jump on AJ and try to stop him then. He continued to do what he always does, jab and grab, and he thought maybe he could stop AJ later, but he allowed AJ to catch his second win, and AJ ended up stopping him later on in that fight. You beat that guy. You beat Carlos Takam when a referee jumped in and stopped that fight for no reason at all, as Carlos Takam was coming on and giving you a lot of problems in the second half of that fight. Okay, then you fought Joseph Parker, a guy that had a title, WBO title, a guy that didn't want to engage, a guy that did not do anything, but you still fought that fight for the majority on the back foot. And every time y'all got close and started throwing the punches, the referee jumped in and broke that fight up. It was a lot of shenanigans going on in that fight. That's why when I saw that fight, I really didn't want Wilder to go over there and fight you in the UK. Because the referees were on some funny business, on some funny style type of shit going on over there in the UK. But Wilder was going to take the $15 million flat fee to go over there. But y'all played games and sent contracts over there with no date and no venue. And you wasted time until the WBA came in and bailed you out and said that you had to fight Povetkin next. Damn the mandatory. Even though we all know mandatories trump. Well, we all know that unification trumps mandatories. But you played that game with the WBA to bail you out because you never did want to fight Wilder in the first place. And now you're playing the same game like you want to fight Fury. But we all know how this movie going to play out because it's going to play out the same way the last movie played out with Wilder and Fury saga. With the Wilder and AJ saga. The Fury AJ saga going to play out just like this. If AJ is able to get by Kubrat Pulev, he's not fighting Tyson Fury next. He's fighting Alexander Usyk next if Usyk gets by Derek Chisora. If Derek Chisora pulls the upset, they'll probably fight Derek Chisora next. They're not going to give up those belts. Those belts mean everything to Matchroom Boxing. Those belts is what keeping Matchroom Boxing afloat. Those belts was keeping Matchroom Boxing close to the same level as Top Rank and PBC. Without those belts, and they're not willing to give up now one of them. They talk a good game. They're not going to give up now one of those belts. They're going to fight Usyk next. If Usyk is able to get by Chisora, I just put it to you like this. They're going to fight the winner of that fight next. Whoever it is. Because both of those guys works with Matchroom Boxing. David Hayes, the manager of Derek Chisora, works with Matchroom Boxing. Derek Chisora, last several fights have been up under the Matchroom Boxing banner. So whoever wins that fight, I think gets AJ in early 2021. And then we'll see. And then I think they might then be ready to fight Fury, but only on Matchroom Boxing terms. They're going to say, we got the majority of the belts. We call the shots. We want the fight to take place in Saudi Arabia. We want the fight to take place here. We want the gloves here. We're going to want the gloves. We're going to want these gloves sanctioned. We're going to want the ring to be this side. They're going to want to call all the shots. They're going to try to treat Tyson Fury like he's some low-ranked challenger fighting for their belts. I'm telling you, this is the playbook that they did with Deontay Wilder when he had the belt. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. But Tony Bellew, kill that noise, boy. Talking crazy about what AJ is, this great fighter that's developing into an all-time great fighter. The guy is Frank Bruno 2.0. And once he get in the ring with Fury or Wilder, he's going to take losses in those two fights. He's not beating now one of those fights. And I'm not even sure he can beat in shape Andy Ruiz in a third fight. I'm not even sure he can do that. I'm not even sure he can beat Charles Morton the way Charles Morton is fighting. This last fight on the undercard of Tyson Fury, Wilder 2, he put on a hell of a performance. He's a much better fighter than he was when he fought AJ the first time, when he fought that fight very scared and wasn't ready for that atmosphere in the UK. So kill that noise. Let me know what you think in the comment section about AJ being Frank Bruno 2.0. A robotic, glass jaw stiff who has a good uppercut and a good jab but no feet work. Let me know what you think. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.